Good morning, everybody. This is Diggs. It's another beautiful day out here in the Pacific Northwest, and the day many people have been waiting for is here. The developers note has announced enhancement transfer cost adjustment. No, I'm just kidding. They are adjusting the cursing system by implementing cursing dolls. So let's go ahead and talk about this, and let's go ahead and dig in. So a lot of people have been waiting for this change. And of course, I like that in the first part of the dev note that they just posted. They spent a long time talking about enhancement transfer cost adjustment. Like anybody cares about this. I mean, I get it, but like, ain't nobody really care about enhancement transfer costs. Let's be honest. Let's be real honest. But essentially, you're going to be able to equipment transfer costs at maximum for 3,900 diamonds at a curse level of plus 99 on your weapons. Now, the more important part here is that warding dolls are going to be implemented for the cursing system. Now, of course, everybody here hates Javir, and of course, these are implemented after literally the stream where I had 2 plus 26 weapons go to plus 21 with my cursing, right? Like, literally, of course, this is what is happening. But they have talked about how they're implementing the warding dolls, and I think it's great. I'm a little confused why only the warding dolls are being implemented on the global side, particularly because we've seen such a massive change to the cursing system on the Korean side. I don't understand why they don't bring the enhancement system on the Korean side to global. And some of the things that they talked about in here were like balance to cursing and how they really needed to balance the game and make sure it's fair. And that just doesn't make sense, because if you wanted fair, you wouldn't implement a cursing system that is literally based on like how much crypto you invest into it, and so on and so forth. You wouldn't have implemented a system where you can get to plus 99, where on the Korean side, most players were hard capped at plus 30. Like, it's just really funny to me that they are talking about fairness when they literally have broken the cursing system on the global side from the beginning. So to me, part of this dev note is really funny. Part of it is very exciting. And I think most people are relatively well anticipating the warding dolls. So the warding dolls, how they're going to work is if you are cursing a piece of gear, you can put a warding doll into kind of the cursing system. And what'll happen is it will stop your piece of gear from leveling down. You can still lose your curse, right? You can still stay at like plus 23, but it will stop your weapon from leveling down. Now, there's no mention on whether or not there's a hard cap on this. Of course, you're probably like, I would imagine they'll probably be like, yeah, you can only use warding dolls up to plus 40 or something. I could see that happening. The other thing I could see happening, which I think would be a nightmare situation, is if warding dolls were available for Asterite, and in which case you would literally just see players paying to plus 99 their weapons, and the entire balance of the game would shift. It would literally, as much as it already is pay to win, it would be even more pay to win. So that's my biggest fear here, is that the warding dolls are going to be available with Asterite. I'm excited that they announced these changes. These changes were long overdue. I'm a little confused why we're not getting the changes from the Korean side, but I understand. I am excited as well to be able to not lose cursing on my weapons. They said there's a lot of ways that we're going to be able to get this through gameplay. They said there's going to be a more detailed notice that'll be provided in the future, which will probably just talk about the system. But I imagine it'll be something where like we get 1 or 2 a week, or it's going to be kind of like drip fed to us, and we're still going to be using the OG cursing system a little bit in order to try and get ahead. They did talk about a release date for this, and the release date for this is not going to be this week, but it's going to be next week, the week of the 28th. So eagerly waiting. I'm really curious because Javir has caused so many players to quit. I'm really curious if this is going to bring them back. especially depending on how it's implemented. I could see this just not being a reason to return. If it's something where you can buy it with Asterite and your account's already behind, you know, screw you, right? Like, you know, people are just going to spend Asterite on it and max out their weapons, and you're like, the meta will literally be who can one-shot each other the fastest. So I'm kind of curious to see how this goes. I'm curious to see how the implementation happens. I still have confusion, again, on why the Korean upgraded version isn't out, where they can literally like farm specific types of warding dolls from PvE. And maybe it is. Maybe the warding doll system is not just the doll, but it's some of the other items that are dropping on the Korean side. They have had a history of changing the Korean systems before they come to global, and you know, maybe that'll be the case. Maybe we'll get like a new currency or a new medal exchange, and we'll be able to work it that way. What would be really great is if we got like medals every time we failed a curse, and those medals went to almost like a guaranteed curse. Does that make sense? Or to buy a warding doll. I feel like that would be a really good system, because that would not only reward players who are actively crafting, right, or actively playing the game, but it would allow you to guarantee your progress on like a single weapon or a single armor without necessarily making it pay to win. It's making it more, you know, play to win. Essentially, you would have to play the game in order to get access to that. And maybe you do have that feature, and you also have a pay to win feature. Did I just figure out cursing? Did I just figure out the best way to do cursing in this video at like midnight? I mean, that sounds like a good solution to me. Anyway, the rest of the dev note pretty much talks about how, you know, everybody's upset about cursing, and rightfully so. They said over 100 days ago that they were going to address it, and it hasn't been addressed or touched on at all. They talked about all the discussions that they have about it, and then they kind of left it there. So I'm curious to all of you who have quit the game because of cursing, who have you know, considered raging about cursing, etc., etc. Is this going to be enough to bring you back to the game? Is this going to be enough to, you know, warrant you going to your friends and being like, hey, time to go back to Ni no Kuni? You know, they implemented the warding doll system, so now Javir is not nearly as bad because you get a lot of warding dolls or something. I'm really curious if that's going to be enough, if we're going to see guild members return, if we're going to see kind of a resurgence of players. I don't think we will. I think it's a little too much, like too little too late. I think the time for this change would have been 100 days ago, before players continually hit that wall and quit because of cursing. But again, what do I know? I'm just a YouTube content creator. So thank you so much for watching, everybody. Let me know down in the comments. I'm really interested to hear your thoughts, and I'll catch you guys next time.